Hey guys, how's it going? I'm EG Magnum, and this is going to be my unboxing of the tabletop RPG Robotech, the Macross Saga from Strange Machine Games. I will also do a review of the rule set because I've been playing in a couple of campaigns, and then I'll be talking about a campaign that I'm going to be running on Twitch coming up later the month that this video is going up, or maybe the month after. It's kind of in a soon trademark kind of situation. Got a lot of stuff to do right now, and also trying to finish writing everything for it. But here's the book. I kind of already opened the box. As far as the unboxing part, yeah, I figured just showing the packaging, kind of more of the etiquette of stuff. So really well packaged. It was very snug in there, and yeah, very well done. As far as it goes, I wish some of my computer parts have come packaged that well. Just saying. But here we go. Here's the book. Robotech, the role-playing game. Macross Saga. Here we go. And here is the back. We'll go ahead and show you. I'll leave it there for a second just in case anybody wants to pause. Yeah. So, this all-new role-playing game is easily accessible and quick to learn. No, every rule set says that. I will say, I definitely kind of have to agree with that statement with this one. But we'll get into that here in the second part. Here's the front cover art. It's also in the back. They've got 150 plus or 150 originally done images in this. Here is the artist. I think it's one artist. Seems very consistent, so I'm guessing it's one artist all the way through. There was a signature. Here we go. I'll kind of hold it up like this, kind of show off some of the artwork on the inside. Then we'll actually talk about the rule set on their preview that you can check out on their website. So here we go. Here's some of the character sheet pages and stuff with all the different characters. And here we go. Here's some good artwork. So each section has kind of like a little table of contents side and then has some good artwork. Really cool stuff. Really awesome. See what else do we got here? There's a pretty good one. More artwork through it. Here, I'll try to hold it up a little better. There we go. Hey, there we go. There's some mechs. There we go. There's a good, nice little picture for the conflict section. And then we have some cool stuff back here in the back. They have some notes, some tips, tricks, creating campaigns, gameplay. Here's a timeline section, which is really cool. So if you're not as caught up or it's been a long time, recently rewatched a lot of the Robotech, at least the Macross Saga. So different scenarios and stuff that you can kind of use as inspiration or even, some kind of like test campaigns and stuff. Ooh, there we go. There's a good picture. I believe that's the same one in the front and the back, but full color. Oh, that looks so good. Some more good scenarios. And here in the back, really cool thing that they have is a size comparison chart. Yeah, look at that monster right there. Monster's one of my favorites if you can't tell. And then on this page, going the wrong way. There it is. There's some comparisons. So, really cool book. Really good artwork on the inside. Really awesome. Pretty hyped to actually start running my own campaign and or campaigns. But yeah. So let's talk about the rules and stuff. Again, I said pretty much everything has a thing saying that it's simple and easy to learn. So let's get my big face off and we'll put it up over there. Real quick, we can go ahead and look. Here's their website, strangemachinegames.com. Then if you want to do the forward slash Robotech RPG, there's the other two books. So there's the alternate cover and the special edition one. So pretty cool. Then let's go ahead and drop into their preview here. This is their preview PDF, and we'll use it to show off kind of the rules and talk about them and kind of give my review of it. I really don't have a score. I will say I am enjoying it if you can't tell. So I highly approve. I will say before we get into the rules, I have played the Palladium Robotech RPG. This would be second edition. I have a lot of issues with second edition from that. I've looked at first edition. It looks like it's better and was a little bit better made, but I do have my issues, and yeah, that's discussion for another time. But yeah, let me know in the comments if any of you have had both good experiences and bad. I'd like to hear the good stuff too, because mine has been pretty not the best, just saying. So, the biggest thing when getting into a new rule set period that concerns me is the character creation. So I was wondering how long this would take. Now that I know stuff like the skills and the talents, so if you've played something like D&D, skills are kind of like, well, skills, and then feats, well, talents are kind of like feats. So looking at just the character creation here, it's pretty straightforward. You literally do step by step. And the pages, there's not too much flipping back and forth, or in a PDF's case, going back and forth and opening up too many extra pages if you're doing PDF stuff. Okay, so review the story. I mean, that's pretty self-explanatory. What kind of setting, what are you going to be doing, figure out your backstory kind of deal. Choose your race, humans and trotty, pretty simple. Choose a career. Now, this is going to be your first big choice, and the best part I like about any kind of system that has choices is that these are good choices. And I would say these are pretty nice choices that you get to make. So, you get to choose between entertainer, marine, officer, pilot, spy, technician, or volunteer. Volunteer is kind of like build your own class, sort of. Now, there is a little bit of a drawback, but it's the closest thing to build your own class kind of thing. From there, you just kind of go through the steps on your class, picking the equipment, proficiencies, and everything. You don't even really have to use this section right here. It pretty much says in the career section, sorry, class, career, same thing, close enough. But in the career section, you can go follow the steps on that, and you can just put it on your character sheet pretty easy. So recording it down is honestly probably the longest part. Now, the second longest part is figuring out what skills you want and figuring out what talents you want. You are going to get an extra talent when you're in your career, plus one given to you based on what you select. Then the skills. You get 6 skills. You choose whatever skills they are. We'll go down and you'll see the skills and talents and stuff here in a second. But then you put your points to those skills and kind of how many, and this is how many dice you get, by the way. So this is a D6 system. So skills are the way you do everything. Now you can also role play it out. It does talk about that in some of the like GM tips and stuff. So you can role play a lot of things, or you can use mechanics for it, which is very awesome in any kind of system. I'm a big rules is written guy, by the way, but I do love flexible systems when they write things in. For instance, in the skill list, the GM may allow the creation of a new unlisted skill. So you get pretty good flexibility here. From there, you can also put freeform points in, so 15 points total. Here's just some pre-done stuff if you wanted to just do that. Do variable rolling or hardcore rolling. Yeah. You really want to get those random, crazy, whatever. So, create your nature. This is another actually pretty cool little customizable thing that you can use as a cool trick to re-roll dice. So that's what nature is for the most part. Other than that, well, I mean, here it just says gain a reroll when attempting challenges. And that's pretty much the main thing. Also, it's a good way to describe your character to everybody else by picking your demeanor and your disposition. We'll look at those and some examples there. And I believe there's a section that allows you to kind of create a word that would describe your character with the GM as well. So, select a talent. That's step 7, pretty self-explanatory. Record the health, it's just given to you right here. Record your burnout, it's just given to you right there. Record your speed, it's just given to you right there. Now, there are some pages here that's just explaining how some of this stuff works and how the actual mechanics work. But as far as writing it down on your character sheet, there you go. It's all right there, easy. Then you enhance your character. So you got 5 points. So let's say you wanted to take a talent, you go to the talent section, figure that out. And then you got 1 point left, so you get personal equipment or proficiency. Really easy, and the character's done. Just like that. I mean, I can do a character now in about 10 minutes, maybe, just because I always get stuck on like, oh, do I want that talent or do I want this skill? Or maybe I should have this skill. And then I have like 8 skills that I want, and then I have to narrow it down. And that's honestly the longest part. And then coming up with the backstory, which typically is the most fun part. So I like that stuff. A big fan. Nature here. We've got disposition and demeanor again. Here's some stuff. Analyst, say you're an analytic strategist kind of officer guy, and you go analyst and calm. That would describe your disposition and demeanor. Pretty cool. you can use that if you are using your nature at that time. So if I've really thought about this and I've come up with a strategy and I've analyzed everything, and then I do my roll and it's bleh, then okay, cool. I use my analyst like nature, so reroll, and then hey, there we go, got something better this time. So that's pretty cool. Pretty cool little mechanic. Rank and fame. I mean, that's pretty much what it sounds like. Ranking up or getting famous if you're an entertainer doing star stuff. We'll go down. Here's stress. Now, the stress mechanic's pretty cool. And actually, this is where my first criticism comes, but it's only in a very specific situation. So yeah, let me just go through this. So fatigues and dramas. So this is how you stress out. So you start off with 5 stress boxes. And depending on what happens, you fill those in. Well, filling those in typically ends up bad, especially when you fill them in all the way. So, ways you can fill those in is with fatigues. The way you get fatigues could be in role playing. Maybe you don't sleep and then you're up all night, so you take a fatigue. Or you don't get rid of a fatigue because sleeping gets rid of a fatigue. So, maybe you do some strenuous activity at the same time, might be a better example, and you take an extra fatigue. Dramas, though. So, say you get into this really rivalry type conflict with somebody, and now it's an unhealthy rivalry, which I believe is an example. Yeah, right here. Unhealthy rivalry. So now, until you resolve that rivalry with that person, you've got a stress box fully filled in with a drama. And until that drama is resolved, you are now with like 4 boxes. And if you fill those in with fatigues, well, here's what happens. You have a mental break. So, mental break is a thing where you kind of go a little crazy. So, for instance, if it's with somebody in combat and you, let's say, rolled your dice, and here's the other way you can get fatigues is rolling too many dice. So, remember the thing that said burnout? If you roll any dice over that, then you get fatigues. So, and say you put your 2 skills together and had 8 dice. Well, 8 dice is more than 5 for sure, which you can self limit, by the way. You roll those dice, but you roll all 8. So you take 3 fatigues. Well, the thing is, you really want to win this fight because maybe someone's about to die. And you have a mental break, but you did some good work. And hopefully now you don't do something too crazy. But let's say now you're reckless. So now you're playing your character as a reckless guy, not obeying orders, going in, trying to take out all of the enemies now to kind of maybe deal with how your character would mentally break under that situation or under that stress that you created. So that's a pretty cool system. I like that. Kind of gives a little incentive and a mechanic around people doing a little more intense role playing, which is cool. The other thing is, though, and here's the criticism, there's a high lethality mode. And the high lethality mode is pretty cool, which is supposed to be you die a lot kind of thing. And as the name says, but in this case, when you have a mental break, you lose a stress box. So not only did you mental break, but now you lost one. Now you only got 4 boxes. Well, then you also have disadvantage on things, as I believe is the other part of it. So they do have also optional rules. I guess I'll go and say that now because I might skip over it here in a second. But that's one of the optional rules. And then with this, you end up losing a stress box, disadvantage, and at that point, you good luck if you lose more boxes. I mean, that's pretty much the big thing. So far, that would be kind of one of the things I would say homebrew. And again, they actually have a section where they talk about if something doesn't fit your group, change it. Which, I mean, that's what I'm saying. You really need to have your groups thing, and I love systems that actually kind of talk about it like that. Like, our rules aren't, the end all be all. I mean, they do say they're more like guidelines, really, or something to that effect. I might be slightly paraphrasing, but I'm pretty sure they say the word guidelines, which, cool, Pirates reference. But, so overall, the mental break, though, can just pretty much kill you in high lethality mode. So we've kind of homebrewed a way to get stress boxes back after a certain time or going to a therapist, kind of paying money for that or something, kind of giving something up just so you get a stress box back. Because at this point, it seems like unless the GM's just being very nice or we've gotten very lucky, either way, woohoo. But we haven't died yet, thank goodness. And we're a decent few sessions in, so feels pretty good so far. The only thing is it just seems like a couple of our characters are going to go completely insane, and I didn't know I was playing a Call of Cthulhu campaign all of a sudden. But anyway, that's kind of the mental break section. There's one other thing that I will try to talk about here in a second that I also have a slight issue with. It's not really an issue, it's just kind of something that's not really clear. And I am going to talk to them and message them on their Discord about the question that I'm having as far as it involves the ships, which I'll kind of talk about here in a second when we get down. And that's when I'll talk about the campaign that I'm going to be running here in a little bit. But challenges, cool. We'll kind of skip over that. Heroic moves. Here's a really cool mechanic. Heroic moves. So this is where you do something awesome and you do something kind of really cinematic. First of all, no extra damage. You can't just use it to deal extra damage. You get a heroic move like once a session, and there are things you can do. You can either use your move if you're in your element, or you create a drama to use the move, which then can be figured out by the GM later or whatever. But it causes, here's mechanically what it does: an area of effect, reposition, modifier, work faster, get stuff done in a turn. You know, like give advantage or disadvantage to an enemy or something, or give you advantage, reposition them, move them around, which is kind of what we did. And area of effect is what me and a friend did recently for our two characters. Temporary fix, you know, like say somebody's dying and nobody's a medical person, so you use a heroic move to miraculously stabilize him. You know, you didn't save his life completely, but you've stabilized him so he's not just going to straight up die. Gain a contact or an ally kind of thing. You know, that could be like a very good persuasion thing. You know, if you're trying to gain an ally from one of your enemies for them to betray or something, that could be a cool heroic move to actually do. Optional rules, hapless heroes. You know, you can make it as creative as you and the GM will allow, kind of thing. So really cool stuff. Example of what we did is there was one of the armors. It wasn't it's their power armor. You know, with the cannon on the chest. We shoved a gun in that to move him around, and then fired to blow him up and blow a hole through the wall with the explosion to get out of a ship that we were essentially trapped in and cornered. So while a friend of mine was doing that, my character was jumping in and covering fire and pretty much suppressing the enemy so that they couldn't do anything. And that was our two heroic moves in one turn to get that to happen, so we could escape and get back with the rest of the party. Yes, we split the party. Oops. But anyway, skills. So this is how you really play the game. So skills. Two skills may be used to create actions. So whatever the two skills, we'll look at a couple and kind of give some interesting examples here. But here's some stuff you can do: assist, inhibit, observe, obscure, attack, defend, redirect, interact. So there's different steps that you can go through, different phases of combat essentially that you can go through, and assisting, observing, stuff like that is normally in the support phase. So you got a support, you got the ops phase, which is like attacking and defending, and you got the cinematic phase, which is, you know, interacting with stuff and doing things. Equipment suites, I'll go ahead and talk about them here. I will talk about them when I get down to the mech stuff. But equipment suites allow you to get extra dice without a penalty to going over your limit for burnout. So equipment suites are awesome. So here we go. Here's a quick skill list. So I guess I'll go a little bit slower real quick in case anybody wants to pause. And then here is the skill list for a couple of the skills for an example. So Adept Negotiator, we'll use that. And then up at the top, I think it was Rapid Fire or Man at Arms. We'll use Rapid Fire for now. So let's say you're in a combat situation. How will attacking somebody, can you use an Adept Negotiator? Well, in this case, it kind of does give you an example here. During a prolonged dogfight, after you see your opponent's moves, you open yourself to take damage in order to land the killing blow. So you could describe that to your GM. Say you're going to actually use Adept Negotiator. You're giving a compromise as the benefit. So you get something, but it costed you a compromise, which is your defend action. So now you won't take a defend action. That's what you're telling them. But you're going to attack with that. And then rapid fire is kind of how it sounds. You shoot, but you have limited range. So you're really close and you're going to go in and rapid fire on them, I think is what it is. Or it might be inaccuracy or something like that. But it makes sense. Sounds cool. Good. Roll your dice. And then say you had 2 in Adept Negotiator and 3 in rapid fire. So you have 5 dice and you roll that. And then depending on what you roll, you get so many successes, which then goes into the combat and how that works. Talents. Talents, we have the leadership talents here for an example. Munition strike, Maybe you get a crack team, so you got a team of scientists helping you, engineers, gunnery, sensory, something like that. Coffee break, get rid of one fatigue, but you have leadership talents, you have piloting talents, social talents, tactical talents, and technical talents. Pretty cool. Full list of those. Gear and kits. They have Robotech vessels. They kind of talk about that. Hardware is a thing. This is the attribute to equipment suites only. It refers to the suit or suites that may be targeted and destroyed as hardware. So you have hardpoints. The interesting thing is on ships, and that's kind of my problem. I guess I'll go ahead and talk about the naval stuff then. You can't really tell how many hardpoints they have, and these loadouts are listed here with specific features and weapons listed under the naval ship entry. So I might need to go back and read this again. But so far, I can't really tell how many hardpoints they would have for exploding. And the reason why I point this out is recently we had a situation where a monster one-shot a destroyer. Now, the monster is awesome, and it is one of my favorite suits, but it did one-shot a destroyer. So, fair enough. But anyway, kind of confused on that one. Not too sure. Again, I'm going to go reread, and then maybe in the description or the comments, I kind of post if I found an answer or anything that could answer that question. That the Strange Machine Games, I'll talk to them and see what they say. But yeah. So communication phase, everybody talks. So you talk, figure out what you're doing with the party. Getting the drop. There's some other stuff. We'll kind of skip this, but I'll kind of go over a scenario. But that's why I mentioned the communication phase, because it talks about what you're doing. So that's my other problem, is the ship thing isn't very clear for naval battle. From now, I'm going to be kind of just making some stuff up because, and as I'm coming down here to the character sheet part with the mech page, I mean, there's a lot here, as you can tell. There was an example and everything. So, okay. So what I'm doing is I'm going to be running a campaign in the Gundam universe around the Universal Century timeline, somewhere around the 1 Year War, maybe during it or maybe a little bit after, something around there. But what we're doing is me and a couple of friends have went through and already done a lot of suits, but we've essentially used this as a template, which is pretty easy and adaptable and really awesome, and that's why I like this system. So it's very easy, very simple, but it works really well, and that's why I really have to rate this highly. Again, I don't really have a scale, but yes, it is awesome so far, and I'm enjoying it. Very few problems that I have with this system. So, you have armor. This is pretty much what soaks up damage. So again, you roll successes. Well, the successes are essentially damage if you put them toward an attack. So in this case, armor soaks up so many successes. Structure, when that hits 0, your mech is destroyed. You have the vessel name upgrades. And then you have systems and hardware points. So in this case, systems can be destroyed. So if you take more damage than your armor and how much ever you defend with, then you can start blowing stuff up. So you can blow up hardware points, which are normally just like, if you have missiles or gun pod or something like that. I don't know if the gun pod technically counts, but you can start giving things up. Some things will let you give up arms, and certain suits, I think, will do that. I want to say yes. But essentially, you eventually get to your systems, and then you take it to your structure, and then you say goodbye, suit. So, really easy, though, to make a template out of this and, take like a Gundam and have so much armor for the Gundam, have different weapons for it, like a bazooka or whatever. And it's really easy to kind of just come up with what it does. And, is it AoE? Is it range? Does it penetrate armor? Stuff like that. So, really cool stuff. So, let's go ahead and talk about a quick scenario and then we'll wrap it up. So, you 2 people and 1 enemy, you and a friend. Your friend, you guys talk it out. You say he's going to observe and do a scan to make sure there's no other enemies, and you're going to go ahead and fight this person. So you roll, you end up getting, let's do the adept negotiator, and actually do man at arms and rapid fire right now. So now you're going to attack and defend is going to be your action. So you roll, and let's say you get 5 successes, you apply 3 to him and 2 to your defense for your attack and defend. Then your friend rolls and he gets 2 for defense, and he actually rolled, let's say, 6 successes. and so he puts 4 to the scan. So pretty good scan there on that. And he doesn't find anything. The GM kind of says that, and then you go ahead and you attack him. Well, the enemy that you're up against in the power armor is just going to attack you. I don't remember their armor, but I'm going to just say it's 1, and say you have 2. So he attacks you, ends up he rolls 4 successes, and you have an armor of 2, but you had 2 for defense, so you take no damage. Then the next time here, you end up getting help from your next round. Oh, you also dealt some damage to him, so he ended up blowing up some pieces of his equipment and some stuff exploded, but he's still in the fight. Now, you go in, your teammate or your friend's going to help you, going to be your wingman on this one and go for the attack as well. So they're going to do a support action. So in this case, they're going to have a pile of successes that they can put toward your successes to go in for one single attack and do a joint attack, which is a cool thing you can do in this. So he rolls another 6, so he puts 2 to defense and 4 to the support of your offense. You roll, and let's say you get 4 successes, but you're going to go straight offense because you're going to do the adept negotiator thing just to make sure this finishes off. So now you have a total of 8 successes going in on this guy, which will be enough to finish him off. But they also fired off everything they had at you, going in super aggressively again. And this time you take 2 damage because you went all for offense. So you will blow them up, but you have to take 2 points. So let's say you had a laser and one of your missile pods that you had with some missiles. So you're going to give those up. And just to even add to this, you fired the missiles. So that's an equipment suite. So you get 3 other dice, let's say, and you ended up with another 3 successes on that. So you ended up with 7 successes plus your friend's 3. So that's 10 successes. This guy is obliterated, but they did get a couple of missiles into you, and you got to give up 2 of your things. So in this case, you already just shot your missiles. Let's say, so there we go. That one's destroyed, and a laser's destroyed, and that's it. So then, you might get that repaired later or something like that. But yeah, that's pretty much a scenario. Pretty cool. Really excited. Loving the campaigns I'm playing in so far. Really excited to try to take this to the Gundam universe and see how adaptable this is and how it works for a new, fresh set of people that's getting into it. And yeah, I'm really happy and excited to just get back into doing some tabletop. It's been a little while, so yeah, pretty hyped. Just saying. I don't know if you can tell, but it'll be on Twitch, so twitch.tv/EG_Magnum. I also have a Twitter, Discord, stuff like that, where I'll be posting things about it, updates of when I go live, anything. If you want to just come in and talk, I'm going to make a tabletop channel at some point, especially when somebody requests for one. But yeah, really hyped. Links and stuff will be in the description. Let me know what you guys think about the system if you already played it. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think of like old systems or anything Robotech, period. Really would like to just hear more from people about this stuff. It's been a while since I've done Robotech stuff, and getting back into it has been pretty fun, especially rewatching things. But yeah, anyway, guys, that'll be it for this one. That's my unboxing review and kind of discussion about the upcoming thing I'm going to be doing. Again, that's in either later this month or probably early next month. So anyway, guys, that's it. Thanks for watching. Have a good one. Peace.